Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 579th Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. I wanted to show this battle because this battle will show you a cautionary tale. It certainly has got a cautionary tale to tell. And that is, if you can spot the enemy plan, what they're doing, and if you react quick enough, you can actually cause the enemy plan to be completely neutralized and maybe even go on to win the battle. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Clash, who has got the Eastern Empire Rebels. Okay, and I think Clash has got a combination of Plumbartari. Remember those Plumbartari we've seen before? They throw those metal-tipped darts called Plumbata, and they are effective against armor, and each Plumbartari unit can throw 810 of those. So he's got quite a good bit of firepower there. He's got some Comitatensis units there as well. And of course he's got his Equiti Clebonari cavalry with their effective against armor maces. Like we said before, look suspiciously like rolling pins, but I don't think any of these are bakers. So yeah, those effective against armor maces are really effective, and you can actually fight infantry with this cavalry. You can leave them fighting infantry and they'll still do well with those effective against armor maces. So that's a pretty good army there, and that is Clash is a faction of choice, and he always brings a good army there. Okay, our next teammate is Barbarian invasion player AM Nestos, who's called himself AM Nestos the Hun, and he has bought the Sassanid faction. Okay, if we have a look at the Sassanid faction here, this is pretty good, usually a pretty good solid faction there. If you notice, he's got his Sugdian warriors with their effective against armor maces, if you see them carry them there. So they're good solid infantry, and I say with their effective against armor maces, they're pretty good. And then you've got the Levy Spearmen. Now these are 120 man units. Now of course, because they carry spears, they're going to be anti-cavalry there. But the real strength of the Sassanids, their cavalry, especially their cataphracts. Now if you notice there, can you see he's put 8 upgrades on his cataphracts? 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now that is very cost prohibitive to do these, because these units are so expensive. Now if you look at them, can you see they really are the tanks of the barbarian invasion world? Because look, they're armored from head to toe. They've got I think the highest charge bonus in this game is 10. They've got 9, plus with just gold defense on, they've got something like a 36 defense on them as well. Okay, but if you notice, he's got no archers, and he's only got 7 infantry. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does. If you notice, his general here is probably the best cavalry unit in the game, and that is the Clebonari Immortals. They've got 2 hit points. When you alt attack, they use their effective against armor maces. They've got big defense and big attack specifications, and as I say, probably the best cavalry unit in the game. Okay, but not many infantry and no archers, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does during the course of the battle with the Sassanids. Our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's got the Roman Eastern Empire Rebels. Okay, I've got a combination of Comitatensis Eagle units. Okay, I've got several of those. I like to bring them because obviously the Eagle units give morale to the troops, so if you bring a lot of them, it gives a lot of morale. Plus I've got a few Plumbartari units there. As I say, remember throwing those metal tipped effective against armor darts there. Okay, so that's my infantry there, and of course I've also got the Equiti Clebonari cavalry with their effective against armor maces. Okay, and as I say, really good solid cavalry. So that's my Roman army there. Be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. And our last teammate is Barbarian Invasion MGM, who has bought the Roxolani faction. You don't see this faction used this much. Now he has got an unusual army build. He's got 10 archers, just 4 infantry, and 6 warlord cavalry units. Okay, so these virgin foot archers, they've got a good range, they can do a lot of damage, but if you notice, they're not wearing armor, so their defense is not that good. He's got the Bosphoran infantry spearmen. Of course, these are anti-cavalry, but also they do well against infantry, but he's only got 4 infantry units, and then he's got the warlord cavalry units there. Okay, so as I say, he's got 10 archers, 6 cavalry, and just 4 infantry. So we've got Rome, we've got the Sassanids there with and then we've got Rome, and we have got the Roxolani faction. So we're quite diverse. It should be a great battle for you to watch. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I was going to ask what you guys think. If you notice here, can you see MGM has deployed his army onto that hill or onto a slope or a mound, whatever you call it. Now, should we move all our troops, all our team up onto this mound? Because it's a good tactical strategic move. Wouldn't that be a good strategical move there, to move up onto the higher ground? I think generals probably back in the day would have tried to grab the higher ground. And is that something that you would encourage your team to go up, or would you think that some people would say that that was hill camping with all the advantages that that brings? So the question to you is, would you take all your team up onto that mound, or would you try and fight on a flat part of the map? Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought I'd show you my Roman formation here, my Roman battle formation with my army. If you notice, I've got my Legio Lanciarii spearmen in open order in front of my main battle formation. Remember, these are spearmen, so they're anti-cavalry, and as I've got them in open order, they're going to suffer less missile damage, so they're like my pilot shield units there. And then I've got my missile troops behind them ready to throw into enemy troops, and of course I've got my cavalry locked and loaded to bring them in when needed. So that's my Roman Barbarian invasion battle formation. Be interested to see how well it does. And here is the other team. We have a Brotherhood member, First Prime, who has got the Roman Eastern Empire faction. Now, First Prime has got 15 Plumbarturi within his army, and if you remember, each Plumbarturi unit throws 810 of those effective against armor darts. So that means his army can throw at least, get ready for this, 12,160 of those effective against armor metal tip darts. Okay, so he can throw 12,150 before he even gets into hand-to-hand fighting. That's the firepower that his army has got there. And remember that this is his kind of faction of choice. He always likes to bring this, so that army is refined now, and it's just right for the way he plays. Of course, he's got a religious unit. Remember what we've talked about before. Religious units are very important in Barbarian Invasion because morale is so important. Keeps your troops fighting longer. So if we can neutralise First Prime's army before he gets a chance to throw those missiles, it would be a good idea. He's got Equiti Clebonari cavalry, where they're effective against armour maces, but only 3 of them. So as I say, 12,150 missiles at least he can throw with his Plumbarturi. If we can neutralise them before he can throw them, that would be good. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Demon. He's also got the Eastern Empire, and he's also got a lot of Plumbarturi in his army. So of course, once again, he's got a lot of firepower to bring to the battlefield. This is what the Roman armies bring on Barbarian Invasion, a heck of a lot of missile troops that can do a lot of damage before you even get to hand fighting. He's also got a religious unit here he would bring for that extra morale. So between him and First Prime, there are thousands and thousands of missiles they can throw. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Danny, who has bought the Franks faction. Now, we don't see the Franks faction used that much. They've got the Francisca Herban units here. Now, these guys throw effective against armor axes. Okay, they're good, solid infantry. And as I say, they throw effective against armor axes, and they can be a very formidable force. We don't see the Franks bought very often. You notice he's also got a religious unit there because he also understands the importance of morale on Barbarian Invasion. And also, I'd just like to show you another great cavalry, and this is the Paladins. Okay, now these guys have got the 10 charge bonus. Remember that the biggest charge bonus in this game is 10. Remember, the charge bonus is the impact and penetration of a unit, and these guys have got that 10, plus they've got really good specifications, and make no doubt here, these are extremely elite cavalry. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. And their last teammate is a Brotherhood member Aurelius with his faction of choice, and that's Burgundy. That is his faction of choice there. He's got 6 lancers, 10 infantry, and 2 berserkers. And as I say, this is his faction of choice. If you look here, you can see that he's got the Burgundian Lancers. Now, these are heavy cavalry, but they're also fast moving. They have also got the biggest charge bonus in the game of 10. As I say, remember, the charge bonus is the impact and penetration that a unit can do, and they've got the 10 charge bonus, the biggest in the game. Okay, here you've got his infantry there, and you can see he's got his effective against armor axemen, and they do exactly what it says on the tin. They will cut wide swathes through heavily armored troops like Roman troops. Plus, he's got Knight Raiders. Now, these Knight Raiders are also effective against armor. You see their axes there, but they also bring a big fear factor, taking morale away from enemy troops, destabilizing them and making them more susceptible to routing. As we know, morale is very, very important in Barbarian Invasion. There is Aurelius's general there. If You notice no helmet there and a big shield to protect himself with. Now he's got some unusual units here at the rear of his battle formation. Let's say he's got wolfhounds. So he's got those there. I don't know why he's got those. Maybe to attack archers. He's got his big barbarian peasant unit of 120, which he tends to put in front of his infantry to soak up enemy missiles. And of course, he's got his 2 berserker units. Now remember, the Lombard berserkers, very, very aggressive, good attacking specifications, 2 hit points. And of course, in Rome Total War, we allow 3 berserkers. While in this game, Barbarian Invasion, the berserkers are so powerful, you're only allowed 2. Okay, so there's the enemy team there. You can see they've got First Prime with Rome, they've got Demon with Rome, they've got Danny with the Franks, and we've got here the Burgundo faction. Should be a great one for you to watch. As you can see here, we've actually abandoned the mound or the slope now. If you see MGM, remember he had his army set up on there, and he's now moved his army away from the slope. So we've decided not to take the high ground. But the enemy, if you've noticed here, can you see, they've seen that we've ceded the ground there to them, and they're going to move on to the higher part of the battlefield here. You see straight away, you can see that the enemy battle plan here, their main battle plan is to move their troops onto that mound or hill, if you want to call it a hill, so they get that higher ground advantage. Okay, straight away you can see their whole team running over there. Okay, so straight away from our point of view, we can see that their battle plan is to move all their armies onto that hill or around that hill, so they're all going to be moving over there now. Okay, so we've seen what their battle plan is. Okay, so can you think of what we can do to maybe make the most of this knowledge, to maybe neutralize their battle plan? As I say, you can see that is, as we said earlier, that's what they're doing. They're moving all their armies over to the higher ground. They're going to take advantage of the strategic and tactical high ground there that we've ceded to them by withdrawing from it. Okay, so as I say, you can see them all moving over there. Now, as I say, that's what they're going to do, move up onto that hill. So if you were us, what would you do here to kind of make the most of the knowledge that we can see? They've shown their hand here. There's no pretense. There's no slow strategic move here. They're just moving as fast as they can to that slope. Okay, so what can you see we can do here? Okay, we can see the plan. All right, they've shown their hand. What are we going to do here? What would you do if you were our team? Okay, right. Well, First Prime is right on that other flank, and he has got to run right from that flank all the way across to that mound. Okay, now if you notice, there's a gap between him and Demon. See that gap between him and Demon there? So First Prime now looks a little bit isolated to us. Now if we move quickly, do you think there's a chance we could intercept his army before he can merge with the rest of his team over on that hill? Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to move as fast as we can to intercept First Prime to stop him getting over to his allies. Okay, so that's what our plan is here. We can see what their plan is straight away here. They've shown their hand, no pretense here, that we just know that they're going for that high ground. Okay, so because they've shown that's exactly what they're going to do, we can now plan. And as I say, let's see, they're all moving up onto that higher ground. They're taking advantage of the strategic high ground there. But First Prime, as I say, look how far behind he is from Demon. Look at the gap between him and Demon. Pause the game for a second. Okay, so there's Demon's army there, and there's First Prime's army. Now, can we get over there quick enough to intercept First Prime's army and maybe take him out? Okay, that is our plan. Okay, so we're going to try and move as fast as we can. We're going to let Demon and the Franks there get further and further away from First Prime, hopefully. And then we're going to move quickly to try and intercept him. There you are. You can see them starting to set up on the hill. Look, they're quite happy to all run over there. That's the battle plan. But now, if you notice here, we're starting to move fast towards First Prime. As I say, our goal now we know what their team is going to do. Our goal now is to intercept First Prime and try and take his army out. That's what we're going to look to do here. So if you notice here, all 4 of us now are moving as fast as we can towards First Prime's army. Okay, now make no mistake, First Prime will see us coming, obviously. He'll see 4 enemy armies coming towards him, and he's probably thinking, right, now can I make it to the hill, or am I going to be intercepted? And as you can see, we're getting close. Right, so as I say here, If you were first prime now, what would you do, seeing these 4 armies coming against you? Would you stop, turn to face the threat, turn your battle formation to threat, to against the threat coming towards you, or would you carry on running and try and get to the slope? Okay, so would you turn your battle formation to face the threat coming towards you, or would you try and keep running towards the slope? Which do you think you would do if you were first prime? Okay, so it looks to me like first prime's trying to keep running here. But you can see the fast-moving cavalry warlord units of MGM there have got in between him and Demon. Now my guess is Demon's going to see the threat and is going to turn to help his ally, which he's doing. Can you see Demon is no longer running towards the hill? He has seen first prime is in danger and he's coming over. Here comes our MGM warlord there with his cavalry, and bang! And it smashes in the first prime's unit. You can see our Sassanid ally there, AM Nestos, moving his cataphracts forward. Now if you notice here, we're starting to intercept first prime. He's stopped running over towards the hill now, look. And we're starting to hit him with cavalry. We've got our infantry coming over there as well. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So you can see Demon here has now turned back to help his ally. He's got his cavalry involved in there, but you can see our 4 armies are bearing down onto first prime's army there. Okay, so as I say, the enemy showed their hand, that we knew their battle plan there, and we are now like enacting our own battle plan there to kind of neutralize theirs. Okay, so you can see all our armies now moving in on first prime. Here we've got our cavalry. Remember, we've got elite cavalry with our Sassanid ally and our Equitide Clebonari, effective against armored cavalry here as well. And as you can see there, we're really smashing in there. Our Sassanid ally is smashed in there. You can see a clash, and my cavalry there, our Equitide Clebonari, smashing there, and bang, and it smashes in there. And you can see I'm moving my green Roman army up there as well. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, so you can see my you can see that Demon's army there is trying to kind of combine with first primes, but if you see my green Roman army here, I want to be a blocker. I want to get in between Demon and first prime to stop him reinforcing first prime while we smash our cavalry into first prime's army here. Okay, so our aim obviously here is to take out first prime's army. And as I say, you can see first prime's allies starting to bring their cavalry over to try and help first prime. You can see Danny's Frankish army over there. He's probably turned to come back to try and help him here. But as I say, it looks to me like with the cavalry that we're throwing into first prime there, we've routed a lot of his units there. Okay, now remember, first prime had, I think, 12,150 of those effective against armour metal darts he could throw into us. Well, we've neutralised that now, look, by taking out most of his infantry. Look at our cavalry pushing on into his infantry, and bang, as they smash in there, routing other enemy infantry, cavalry as well there, as we charged him. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. So, okay, so you can see our elite cavalry clash, mine, and our Sassanid ally, AM Nestos there, smashing all our cavalry into first prime's infantry. And you can see most of first prime's infantry has now been taken out. Okay, that was a lightning hit by us there with our heavy cavalry there. And as I say, I'm going to turn my infantry now to face Demon's infantry. I want to be a blocking force. As I say there, both myself and MGM there with his Roxolani infantry, we were the blockers there to stop Demon being able to combine his army with first prime, which is what we wanted to do, leaving first prime isolated with the possibility of being taken out. Okay, you can see here that the Frankish ally Danny is now bringing his Francisca Herban axe throwing troops down here into the fray, but we've got all this infantry here, look, and these archers here as well that we're still going to throw into the fray here. But as I say, our first plan here was to take out first prime's army, which very much looks like we've done there. He's got a few units left there, but not many. You can see our cavalry surging on through his units there. We don't make no mistake there, we will be absolutely decimating those units there. As you can see, our cavalry pushing on through. Our elite well upgraded cavalry there, that pushing on through. And you can see, I think our first prime's general there. Let's just pause the game for a second. I think we've taken out 2 generals here. We've taken out first prime's general, as you can see, and we've taken out Demon's general as well. So we've taken out the general morale bonus there from both armies there with that that massive cavalry hit there. And as I say, you can see, I think most of first prime's infantry, I think there's a couple of units left there, but my guess is that they're shaken. They're probably frightened by the enemy numbers by them, and it wouldn't surprise me if they actually routed there. There you can see those last 2 units there. We're going to charge into them there. Probably on impact they possibly will rout, and there you go, they've routed. So that is the whole of First Prime's army has now been taken out. Okay, so all of First Prime's army is, so our plan has worked now. We wanted to isolate and take out First Prime's army, and that's exactly what we've done with a really big team effort there. If you notice, all our cavalry and infantry were involved there, and as I say, we've taken out First Prime's army and now made this into a 3v4. Okay, so a question for you now. If you were the enemy team, okay, now bearing in mind this is a 3v4, if you were the enemy team now, what would you do? Okay, what would be the best tactical strategic thing to do? Do you think that the enemy should now move on to that mound? Do you think that Demon and Danny now should withdraw their troops onto that mound? If you notice, Aurelius has still got his infantry up on that mound there. Okay, so look at the height advantage that he's got up on that mound. Now, should the rest of the enemy troops, bearing in mind it is now a 3v4 as First Prime's army has been taken out, should the enemy troops now withdraw and maybe form up on this hill? If you were part of their team, is that something that you would do? Look at the height advantage. If they just ran back here and formed up on this hill, do you think that that would give them a huge advantage over us, even though we have made it into a 3v4? So as I say, if you were tactically involved in this game, would you advise them to maybe pull back onto that hill there? Let's just see if that's what they're going to do. Do you think they're going to pull back onto that hill? Now it is a 3v4. I think that was MGM's generals just been taken out by archers. Right, can you see me move my green Roman army forward here? Okay, moving forward there towards Demon's army. Now make no mistake, there's a lot of missiles being thrown here. You can see those plumbata, those metal tipped armor piercing darts being thrown in there, coming in like rain onto us there. Okay, so I'm going to be replying with my own Roman missile troops there as I move forward towards Demon's infantry. Okay, but what would you do? As I say, the enemy team, do you think they should pull back up onto that hill? What do you think? Let's pause the game for a second here. Okay, so you can see we've got our cavalry out to the right flank there, and we've got all this infantry. Look at Clash's infantry. He's not even engaged his infantry yet as we move forward. So do you think the enemy team here should move back onto that hill? I just think when I watched the battle replay, I thought maybe that might have been a good tactical move, but I don't know what you guys think. But look at the missiles coming in here, those plumbati. Look at them, it's like raining missiles. And remember that those pilers and plumbatis there, they're all effective against armour. So there are some casualties being caused here by the amount of missiles you can see being thrown in from both directions there. So there's a lot of casualties involved there. Let's say you can see Clash's cavalry charging into that one unit, hit it, bang. Right, here's those Francisca Herban axe throwing Frankish troops there. Okay, as I say, they throw effective against armor axes. We might actually see them throw in here. Those axes, they say, reload in there, and you can see them. See those axes going through the air? Let's say those are effective against armor, so they will cause a lot of damage to heavily armored troops there. So as I say, we're pressing forward here. You can see our infantry pressing forward into Demon's forward units of his battle formation there. Okay, but meanwhile, over on the right, can you see those well-upgraded cataphracts? Just pause the game for a second. Now, the well-upgraded cataphracts of Nestos now are fighting all this enemy cavalry. But remember what we said, those cataphracts are the tanks of the ancient world. They're so well-armoured, and he's put 2 experience stripes on them as well. So that's going to keep them fighting even longer. Look at all that enemy cavalry. Right, here comes Clash's cavalry. Get ready for this. And bang! And he smashes in to that enemy cavalry there. So now we've got both Clash's cavalry and Nestos' cataphracts there. As you can see the cataphracts here fighting the Frankish cavalry, the Paladins, plus those lancers as well of Aurelius there. But that's a massive cavalry battle there. It wouldn't surprise me if the enemy threw some infantry in there as well. You can see my cavalry charging in here as well. There goes my cavalry in wedge formation for more penetration, more impact, and there they go. Get ready for this. Bang! As they smash in there. So my cavalry is involved in there as well. Wouldn't surprise me if Clash turned his cavalry into charging once again. There goes Clash's cavalry, and bang, as he charges in there as well. You can see now with all our elite cavalry against the enemy cavalry and a couple of infantry units there, but you can see the mass of our cavalry here. I think our cavalry has done the main damage to the enemy troops, I think. Okay, you can see now that Aurelius has brought his Burgundi infantry down from the hill now. He's brought them down here to charge in. He may well have been waiting for his allies to come up onto the hill. That's why he kept his troops up there. But obviously he's brought them down now to throw them into the fray. Let's say you can see our troops pushing forward here against Demon's infantry and those Frankish Francisca Herban axe throwing troops as well. You can see us throwing there. Make no mistake, Clash's infantry will be throwing loads of missiles into them to weaken them as well. Now if we could smash into the rear of that infantry, bearing in mind they're already battle damaged, that could cause a massacre. Right, can you see my cavalry? I'm going to charge into the rear of those enemy troops there. Get ready for this. Bang, as they smash in there. We're also running infantry forward as well. Let's see our infantry running forward into them as well. And now we've caused a mass rout of those enemy troops there. You can see all of us charging our infantry and cavalry in there now. And you can see that we've managed to rout most of the enemy troops here. Over here on the right side here, you can see those tough cataphracts of the Sassanids there. Nestos there, still fighting enemy cavalry, still fighting enemy infantry. You can see those effective against armor axemen and those Knight Raiders. Look at them charging into those cataphracts. Those cataphracts still fighting well, even against them. This just goes to show you how tough these Sassanid cataphracts are. There's the, you can see Aurelius' general there with that big shield there to protect him. But you can see our allies' cavalry charging into the flank of Aurelius' infantry. And you can see Aurelius' infantry is starting to rout now. Look at those cataphracts still fighting now, even against those effective against armor axemen and those effective against armor Knight Raiders. There, you can see here now that I think Aurelius' troops have now been routed as well. So I say this was only a short battle, but I just wanted to show you what can be done if you can see what the enemy plans are and how you can counter those enemy plans. As I say, right from the beginning, where we could see that their plan was just to run all their troops up onto that high ground, we could see First Prime was really going to be isolated because he had to run from the other flank. So that's why we decided then to isolate him and hit him and hopefully take his army out, which is what we did. So as I say, if you can see what the enemy plan is, you can then counter the enemy plan with your own plan. And as you can see, that's what we've done. That's the main reason I wanted to show you this battle, was just to show you that, you know, as I say, once you can see what the enemy plan is, you can then between you come up with a counter strategy. There was no pretense by the enemy team. There was no strategic or slow moving, you know, strategic move, if you like, towards the hill. It was just an out and out run, get up that hill as fast as we could. And of course, as soon as we saw that and could see First Prime, poor old First Prime, right on the other flank, he'd have to run all the way across. We knew we'd be able to intercept him there, and that's why we managed to turn it into a 3v4 quite quickly there. As I say, I think this is probably one of the shortest battles I've ever put on, but as I say, the main thing for doing it was just to show what can happen there. As I say, it was a great battle. So just like to say, really well played to everybody in the game there. As I say, I just wanted to show this battle just because of how you can counter. Ignore the heroic victories. A lot of you know I don't put heroics on. I don't put clear victories on. I like to put close battles on that keeps you on the edge of your seat guessing who's going to win. But I just thought I'd show this battle because I thought it was a great example of how, if you can see what the enemy are doing clearly, you can then come up with a counter plan and you can like hit them. Like as I say, look at First Prime, 101 kills. Demon did quite well with 813, but Danny and Aurelius there, probably none of them really got the kills that they wanted to there, because we turned it into a 3v4 so quickly through countering them there. So that's why they didn't get that many good kills there. As I say, my whole Roman army of mine managed to scrape in the highest kills there. Clash did well, I got some good kills there. MGM possibly didn't get the kills that he wanted to there. And Nestos did well as well. But one interesting thing I thought I'd show you, if you look at MGM's casualties, can you see he's still got 1,100 troops left? He only lost 169 troops in the whole battle. So that's all he lost, was 169 troops. And Clash lost even less. If you look at the troops he's got left and how many he started with, he only lost 118 troops in the whole battle. Okay, so that's how small casualties they suffered, all because we countered the enemy plan. Okay, so as I say, when you can see the enemy plans very, very clearly, as a team you can come up with a counter strategy, and you can, well, you've seen what happened in this battle. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this unusual battle. It is a cautionary tale. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.